raise a concerning feature of this criminal investigation, as well as its progression through the courts. The complaint originates from Mr. Adams, the Member of Parliament, and I've explained in my statement its dubious genesis. As to the role of IDEC, I fail to see how an employment matter of a mid-level employee rises to the level of serious, high-profile or complex corruption or unlawful activities arising from the State Capture Commission. This is where I end, because I believe this is what IDEC is about. But this is now about an employment of a mid-level manager employee that throws IDEC into the picture from the same complainant, Mr. Adams.
Thank you, General. That concludes then the conversation as regards the complaint against the magistrate. Chair, I see at 12:49 we are starting a new chapter. Should we start and then we will break at 1?
Let's do that, please. Thank you.
General, I'll invite you then to go to page 77, starting from 252. You deal from page 252 with a heading, with a subject that you had, historical interference with the criminal justice system. Would you take the commissioners through that aspect of your testimony?
Commissioners, when I spoke on the 5th of March 2025 in Parliament, I made a reference to the experience that I had from 2011. And what I see happening right now, it takes me back to 2011. And that makes me realize that I cannot just sit back and allow the irregularities that were happening in 2011 when I was the acting national commissioner to repeat itself, because it's going to become a culture, it's going to be embedded in how the justice system works in this country. Therefore, the citizens are not going to be safe. I've seen it in 2011 and it's happening again. As I said, commissioners, when you look at my profile that I presented on the first day, that I joined the top management structure of the South African Police Service in 2011, when I was appointed as an acting national commissioner, appointed by President Zuma at the time. I must indicate that when I was appointed, the person that was the Minister of Police was Minister Mteto, Nathi Mteto. He was the Minister of Police. At that time, when I was appointed, the South African Police Service were always in the media regarding the activities at crime intelligence. Lieutenant General Mdluli was in the center of that. So there were two matters that were always in the media. Was about the death of a murder incident that happened in Vosloorus, as well as the corruption within crime intelligence secret fund account. I think that's where the name /fund came from. The secret fund account that I spoke about earlier that must be accounted for the Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence. It was misused. When I came in, there was already, General Mdluli was already suspended. And he was suspended by General Cele at the time. That suspension was regarding the murder incident that happened in Vosloorus. When I came in and I asked the management about the status of the criminal case that I'm told is registered against General Mdluli, which involves corruption of crime intelligence secret fund account, I was informed that there was no disciplinary steps initiated yet at the time. So I directed that we must initiate the disciplinary steps against the second charge, which is corruption. I brought General Mdluli to brief him about it, and I appointed an investigating team to investigate, and in the concluded investigation, we are about to subject General Mdluli to a disciplinary hearing. And then Jaram Lule, to my surprise, then contacts me and he says to me, his criminal case that is going to appear in the Commercial Crime Court in Pretoria is going to be withdrawn the following day. So I was perplexed and I said, but Jared Dramat, as the head of the Hawks, do you know about this? And he said, no, he's not aware. And indeed, commissioners, when the matter appeared in court, the matter was withdrawn. So I demanded to know the reasons for that. They finished me with a submission that was made by the Deputy National Head of NPA at the time, Advocate Mkhwebi, where he gave the instruction to Advocate Mzinyati, who was responsible for that case, and Advocate Mzinyati then directed a prosecutor who was working on the docket, Advocate Bredenbach, who's a member of parliament now, to withdraw the case. So the case was withdrawn, simply because of Advocate Mkhwebi, regardless of evidence. But the reasons Mkhwebi put on his letter was that the arrest of Mdluli, or this case being placed on the roll, it is not the responsibility of the SAPS, but it is the responsibility of the Inspector General of Intelligence. I explained earlier, commissioners, that crime will happen. If crime happens within the secret fund account, there must be audit, there must be accountability, and then the case must follow, which must be handled with care, but the case will follow. So similar to what is happening now, if there is any corruption within crime intelligence, that matter must be reported to the right structures and cases must follow thereafter. So at the time, the coordination of the information coming from crime intelligence to be given to an investigation team was facilitated by a senior officer within crime intelligence on an arrangement with DPCI. So the investigation was done correctly.